Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is BMF DIY and I'm Brooks.
Woo! My ninja skills come in handy all the
time. Welcome to BMF DIY. This is awkward, but we're going to make this car faster so that I can actually, maybe not even faster, better, so that I can maybe ride in it, and so can our big kids. My daughter decided that she wants a pink car. It's obviously blue, and it's just not fast enough. So we're going to have to fix that. Let's do it. Well, the other day I got a package in the mail, a glorious one. I've got two things here. One is a speed control, not really a speed control. We're going to use it as a voltage control. And the other one is a glorious little piece of hardware that's going to allow us to change the voltage on this car. So if that looks familiar, it's because it is. This is a power pack that slides onto any Milwaukee battery or something similar and allows you to have power from it. So we're going to use this to power our car so that we can have these batteries that are easy to get, rechargeables, and it's not some weird one-off something or other. And then we're going to take this apart. We're going to make the wiring work so that this car is going to be 18 volts instead of 6. It's going to be pretty awesome. So step number one, we're going to take this little power pack apart. You can see it's got a USB port on it. We want to not have it be USB, but rather these wires we're going to connect directly to a switch so that we can turn the whole system on. So we're going to take this apart, and we're going to take kind of the guts out of this. So there's the guts of this bad boy here. So here's the circuit board. This is what steps the voltage down from the 18 volts. So we've got our board here, and we're not going to make any changes to the board. All we're going to do is solder a couple of wires onto the backside. And then we've got our case here, and the only thing we're going to do with it is drill a separate hole probably down in this area here so the wires can come out of that easier. So here's our wires. We got red for positive, black for negative. And then on our board, it says B plus and B negative right below those two terminals there. Well, not the prettiest soldering job, but you get the idea. So you're gonna solder your positive to the B positive and your negative to the B negative. So that's our goal for there. And then we're going to get a little hole drilled in the backside so we can get our wires come out. There we go. We'll bring our wires out that hole. And then we're going to put this case back together. So there's our product there. We're going to go ahead and use these wires as our battery leads. And the one thing I'm going to do is test for continuity on these to make sure that they're not crossed and make sure that they're good. So as you would expect, I have a Milwaukee meter. So we're going to put it on our audible setting. When you touch the wires together, you get an audible beep. I'm going to take our black and our red and make sure that they've got continuity through to each lead, but not to each other. So we'll find the black one. There's our black one, and it does not have continuity to the red one. Perfect. Okay, so this is the part that you should not be intimidated by. This is the wiring part, and I say that because it's not that tough, okay? So here's our original charger, here's our original battery, and then it splits off and it gives power right here up to the switch on the car that's the on-off switch. So I pulled this little switch out, and I just played tug of war, so I'm pulling on the black one, find out, okay, hey, there's our negative side of the battery. Then I pull on the red one. Okay, there's the positive side. So those two wires are what we're going to have to connect our new system to. And I'm going to have a switch in here so I can say, okay, I want to go on the old battery system or the new battery system. That way I can essentially put it back to stock-ish, if you want to call it that. We're going to put our improved battery holder in this little trunk area so it's easy to access. And then all I'll have to do is slide a new battery in. Kind of like so. And then I'm just going to put a screw through this, and I know there's a circuit, or there's that circuit board in there, but I don't care about that. So then we'll test and see how far down in there our battery sits. That should be all right. So again, there's a circuit board in here. I just put a couple of screws in it. I know that I went through it, but I'm not using it, so I'm not worried about it. And then I've got it to where this battery will slide right in. Makes it really easy to get it in and out. Be perfect. So the next part of this is going to take place right in here. So we're going to get the wiring snaked in there. There's already an opening on mine, so we're going to lift this bad boy up. So there's our wires. And that'll all be hidden back behind the seat. So we'll have our wires come in here. And that is where the fun starts. So this is where we identified our power wires that go up to the controls. And we're going to cut it here and put a switch in so that we can either go with the old controls or new controls. Not yet. We're going to cut some wires and it will be really close to done. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we need to cut the wires that go up to this switch and power the whole car. Okay?
Okay. I'm gonna cut.
Okay, lean over here. Come with me. So we got to go right here and we're going to cut these wires. This one and this one. We're going to cut them separately because there's power on them right now and we don't want to get shocked at it. Okay, so we're going to strip the wires out, and then here's our switch. So it's a three-way position. So your common goes in the middle, and then when you go to 1, it'll connect it to this side. When you go to 2, it'll connect it to this side. And this is a maintain switch, which means when you push it, it stays. A momentary would mean that you push it and it pops back. So we're going to put our common side in the middle. So we'll have our red, and then our black. And then the way we want this to work is that when we're in 1, that's regular mode. So that'll be on this side. That'll be nice and slow. Can I use these? We're going to make it go faster. Okay, there's the black one, and that goes here. So now we're going to verify that we've got it working the way that it was before. So we're going to put it in 1. Then we're going to turn, and look at that, our switch is on. Cool. So we know that it still works. Good deal. So we'll turn that off. So now we got to hook up the new battery. Are you ready for that? Are you sure? All right, can Sissy hand me our voltage controller? So this is where our new voltage controller comes in, and this guy is what's going to allow us to regulate the voltage so we can go slower than it goes now or 3 times faster. So this is our voltage regulator. So you've got your in here and you're out there. So we're going to have our wires come straight off the battery and into the P positive and the P negative.
No, we did.
Alright, so there we've got that. So that's right off the battery wired up. Now we're going to work on the motors, or the distribution of power to the car. To get done, and then I'll let you drive it. Okay, so now this is where the outlet to the rest of the car is going. So we're going to do our positive, then our negative.
Is it done?
Almost, baby. We are so close to done and testing. All right, then with these wires, go over here to our switch to provide power to the car. And this switch is just going to be hidden. It's not meant for anybody to access because I want the kids to have to talk to me so that they can get it working. We got to plug our positive and our negative into this switch.
Hey, sit on your seat.
All right, so we're going to put our battery in. Let's get you guys a better view here. So we're going to get our battery in. It's full. We're going to put it on 2. And it is on the lowest setting possible right now. You ready? Cool, we got lights.
You're in park.
Let's see what kind of speed we get out of that wheel. Nothing. Let's turn it up. There we go. Turn it up more. Oh my! Let's go a little more.
Oh, go more.
Look at that wheel. Let's turn it up all the way.
Whoa.
There we go. Okay, and just for reference, here's how it was originally. That's our original speed. Now we can go all the way from nothing to, let's see the slowest it'll go. So that's about how it came. Yep, so we can go really slow all the way to blazing fast.
Can't wait to drive.
So now we're going to put the seat on, and we're going to test and see what it does on full speed.
Yes.
All right, battery's in.
Baby, watch out.
Scoozy. Let's see if Daddy can actually go somewhere on it. Before I had to push it. All right, watch out. We got it on. It's up all the way. Let's go in reverse and see what it does.
That didn't sound good.
Oh, I probably broke it. Broke the gearbox. Oh no!
You broke the gearbox.
Alrighty, well, we gave it all the power. So,
You broke the gearbox, dude.
oh, that's alright. We'll take it apart and fix the gearbox. So, there's the gear that shattered. So, it's pretty obvious that we're going to have to upgrade these gears. Yeah, moral of the story, plastic gearboxes and lots of torque equals carnage, so guess we'll fix that soon. After I blew up this gearbox, I decided that, see the pieces in there and in there, I decided to find some gears for that. So I ordered all this stuff off Amazon, and it was really cheap. I think the gears were $10. Comes with all of the gears, and then I also saw that there was some other gearboxes that were available on Amazon also. So I grabbed those, and these were $15 each. So what I'm going to end up doing is going with a dual motor setup on this bad boy, and we're going to have 18-volt dual motor, and it's going to be rad. The other thing to note on these gearboxes is that this one is rated 6 to 12 volts on the motor, and it's rated at 15,000 RPM. The original motor is rated 3 to 9 volts because it was on a 6-volt system, and it's rated for 11,000 RPM. So I'm curious. This is obviously not going to work, right? You can't have one that spins. Yeah, this motor's just not going to handle the 18 volts. That's double what it's rated for. You can push these little motors here that are rated for 12 volts. You can push to 18 volts. It's only 6 more. It's not going to do it forever. Eventually, you'll burn up the windings, but it'll do it for a while. So I'll have to look and see what, I'll have to find two of them that are the same. Because these, if you've got one spinning a different speed than the other, then it's just not going to work right. So here's one of the challenging parts on putting the two motors on. This is normally the driver's side, and it does not have a motor on it. So to get this to fit, I had to file down the shaft on this right here because normally there's a washer here that keeps the wheel out to the end. So I had to file this down on both sides to get this to fit over it, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. However, with enough filing, it fits over quite nicely. So here is the problem with running two motors on your power wheel. When you try to turn, there's no differential on this, so both motors are trying to spin at the same speed. So if you try to turn, the inside wheel is going to want to spin a lot more. So there's a couple of ways to fix that, and that's take the rubber off the tires so they don't grab, and then the plastic just spins and you eventually wear it out, or run with one motor. So I haven't decided what I want to do yet. I think what we might do is just try it with one for now. I'm going to try to find a good way to make the dual motor setup work, but for now, the single will have to work. Go over the controls again. We've got the battery power coming in, and that goes out to our switch here, and we can select the normal battery the car came with on 1, off, or 2 is going to be our go baby go. So that in turn sends power up to the switch up here, and that gives power to everything else. So we didn't change that. And then in between our motor, in between our battery and our distribution, we've got this speed controller, and this controls the voltage that goes out to the entire car. So on the very low setting, we'll get nothing, and then on the very high setting, we get 18 volts on the go baby go mode. So, and then these wires are for when I decide to do when I get the dual motor setup squared away, we just come right off of here to the other motor. But for right now, we're just not going to use that for right now. For those of you that have not seen how an RPM gun works, there's a piece of reflective tape that we're going to put on the wheel here, and then as that tape spins around, this infrared gun will pick it up and it will tell us how many revolutions per minute we're seeing. And now we check the RPM. So we're going to use a fully charged 18 volt battery. Goes right into our battery holder there. And initially we're going to put it on setting 1. So this is going to be the original power that it came with. Well, it looks like my RPM gun is not happy, so we'll have to make it happy for now. Alright, so we'll be holding it like this, hitting the pedal, and getting an RPM. So we're going to get a baseline. Here it is, factory RPM. So there you have it, about 117, 118 RPM. Now we're going to switch over to the new system. Okay, so this is as slow as it goes. I don't even know if it'll pick it up. Yeah, there we go. So now we can run it all the way down to 20 or 25 RPM. So that's on the low side. Now let's go ahead and see what the high side is. So this is 18 volts. Let's check it out. 364 RPM. So originally it was 118, and now we are at 364 RPM wide out. That is insane. That is just, that's nutty, is what that is. Well, now we know how much faster the car is than it was before. Dang, that's just fast. And my kids have been riding it right about in the middle. So even right in the middle, it's still trucking along pretty good. I also want to see what the mid-range RPM is. So let's check this out. That's 238 RPM. It's 100 RPM more than original. So even at halfway up, that's crazy. And my 3-year-old daughter, if she tries to ride this with it halfway, it's so fast for her. So all the way up, it'll take some time, but that's crazy. And this one's also got little rubber things in the middle of the tire, so it doesn't spin the tire like some of the other cheaper ones do. I don't know if you can see that little piece right there. This is rubber in the middle, and it grabs. So one of the issues with this is that there's so much torque with 18 volts and that much RPM that I have to give the kids a little push start with this one. Right in the middle is fine, but if I crank it all the way up, I got to give them a push start right off the get-go. At least our big kids. I'll throw some videos in here, but I had my teenagers riding this thing. They're like 120-pound kids, and they were scooting around pretty fast. Go! Go, Kira, go! Keep going, keep going! Go again! Avi, come back here, baby.
I think I'll know how to drive the car when
Just because I think that if you guys are watching this video, you might notice that the lock-to-lock turns on these things are not very good, right? That's usually the normal turning that you have. Check this out. What? We've got some angle. So on the underside of these things, you can see right here, this crossbar, there's some indentations. Get you up close here. So right here And same spot down here. If you bend those or flatten those tabs as much as you can, and then bend this piece in a little bit, that way they don't catch on it. See that? That way it doesn't catch on it, because normally it'll stop right about there. But if you flatten them, then you can get it to go full lock like that. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed this Power Wheel video. I am certain my kids are going to enjoy it. This thing is going to turn and it's going to speed like nothing else. I think I might try to put it on a true 24-volt system at some point, either that or maybe mount up 2 18-volt batteries so that we can really crank the power up. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. See you on the next video.